Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jordan Giesecke, and this is The Limiting Factor. It's been about a year now since I started the channel. I think my 1-year anniversary was about 3 weeks ago, so I thought it was a good time to take a step back and reflect and take a look forward as to my personal plans and the plans for the channel for the next year. So I guess, I started the channel about January of last year, and it took off more quickly than I expected. The whole purpose of the channel was just to share a few ideas about things I'd learned about batteries in my own research, and I didn't think it would, I thought maybe I'd make a few videos, and then after that it would peter off. But what I found is the more that I researched, the more my knowledge tree sort of expanded, and the more that I realized I didn't know. That's put me in a position now where I'm probably sitting on 30 to 40 video ideas, and it's just a matter of time of researching those and getting those out. So there's probably at least another year's worth of content. And then I also have to take into account the fact that the landscape is constantly and continuously developing, and people are coming up with new ideas on a monthly basis. So it might be that this lasts well into the future. And on that note, I'm skipping ahead here a little bit, but I do want to start doing more interviews with people, because the way that my videos are produced, it takes dozens of hours of research for each video, and then all the scripting, pulling the video together, the visuals, etc. And that takes quite a bit of time. Whereas an interview, I can consult an expert and get some good insights on a topic, and it takes maybe a day or two to process those videos. So I would like to do more of those types of videos in the future, interviews, but we'll come back to that. So coming back to how things went for the past year, so the channel exploded a lot more quickly than I thought it would, and about 2 or 3 months into the channel, I got in contact with an expert, and he really helped level me up. For the first few months, I was really grasping, really trying to find my way forward, and I was a bit lost in certain ways. Overall on the right approach, but there was so many missing pieces of information that I had, and I just needed to get my fingernails in on something so I could crack batteries open a bit further. There's certain language you need to learn that's in the research papers before you can even understand the research papers. It's like learning a different language, and if you don't understand that language, then you're a bit lost. So I spoke to a researcher, and he helped me understand some of the language, how research papers are structured, and that helped out immensely. And he also corrected some of my assumptions about batteries. So so that was the first highlight of the year was actually starting the channel and realizing that it had legs. And on that note, I actually started another YouTube channel about 5 years ago, and it just flopped. It didn't go anywhere. I worked on it for about 6 months. But once you start talking about Tesla and batteries, it's a completely different story. It's something people are really interested in. So it's the right topic for me. And this is probably a good time to do a bit more personal reflection there. I enjoy creating content. I enjoy learning about things and then sharing what I've learned. And it just so happens the thing that really resonates with me and that I think the world needs right now is information about batteries. I've been searching around for years for some sort of creative outlet, and batteries, right time, right place, right brain. Everybody's brain resonates with certain topics, and if it resonates enough, then you can kind of become somebody who evangelizes for that idea. And that's what's really happened for me with batteries. It could have been anything, but it just so happened that batteries resonated with me. So the second highlight was talking to the researcher and him helping level me up. And then the third thing was that, and I want to say a special thanks to Galileo Russell here, because the conversation I had with him, and it went some ways in broadening the appeal of the channel, which helped out quite a bit. My subscribers exploded the week that I had the interview on his channel. And then after that was, of course, September, the month of Battery Day. That would be, what, the fourth or the fifth highlight that we're on to now? And there's two things that happened in the month of September. One was the discussion I had with Shirley Mung. And when people watched that discussion, they could see that I was somewhat keeping pace with Shirley, and we were I was able to speak to her in a language and select ideas and topics that resonated with her. So I think that helped legitimize the channel quite a bit. And then Battery Day, that was the grand finale for the year, which a lot of the assumptions I had and a lot of guesses that I made, the predictions, turned out to be fairly accurate. And the one that I was most nervous about, and I think turned out to be the most accurate, was that Tesla was creating a battery production line that was capable of outputting batteries at a rate several times what's currently possible. I was really nervous about that. I thought it was really far-fetched, but I trusted in the research that I did, and I placed my bet, and it turned out to be, it turned out well. So I'm happy about that. And here we are now, about 5 months later after Battery Day. And I expected the Battery Day series to be maybe 8 to 10 videos, and here we are, coming up on the 10th video, and we still probably have another 5 or 10 left to do on Battery Day. And what I've released to you is a trimmed down version of what could have been done. It could have been a 30-part series, easy. And yeah, that brings me to present day, where we have 45,000 subscribers. And I really appreciate the support from the community and all the people who are viewing the videos, liking the videos, subscribing, sharing the videos on YouTube, sharing the videos on Reddit. All of this is really helping the channel to grow, and it's encouraging for me, because from the outset, I think in one of my first videos, I said that I wanted to start a conversation with the community. And I believe that's what's happened. There's ideas that I put out in the community, and I can see them bouncing around now, and people taking those ideas and developing them and taking them a step further, which I'm stoked about. I feel like I've somewhat been able to raise the level of discourse around batteries, or at least give people a reference or an appreciation of how complex they are, and why something might be more or less likely based on the current state of the technology. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for helping make the channel what it is. There's a lot of interactions that I have on Twitter and YouTube. I read all the comments. Sometimes I don't have a chance to respond to those comments, and it's getting to the point where I'm probably spending too much time responding to contents and interacting with people. It's probably taking up about 20 or 30% of my time for the channel. And I think, although I think people appreciate me interacting in the comments, I think they would appreciate more videos rather than more interaction in the comments. I don't know. Give me your opinion in the comments as to what you think, because I do get a lot out of those interactions. Maybe one out of this sounds sparse, but it's actually, given the volume of comments I read, it's quite frequent. Is maybe about 1 out of 50 comments gives me a really valuable piece of information or a very valuable insight that I can use directly in a video that really helps tie a script together and brings a script from, oh yeah, that's a pretty good script, to, it brings up the level of my content, some of the pieces of information that people give me. And yeah, that's probably about maybe 1 out of 50 comments. But when you're reading through hundreds of comments a week, that's, you have light bulbs going off every day. So thank you to the people who have contributed to the channel in that way. Now, moving on forward to the next year, I'm getting to the point now where I could probably quit my job and do this full time. Now, it's worth noting that I already do this full time. I'm working at least 80 hours a week. I haven't taken a day off in a year. It's been over a year since I've taken a day off and not done anything with the channel. Every morning I get up, I start reading messages. I do my 9 to 5 job, and I, answer messages in between my work. And I, from the time I wake up until about 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening, I'm researching and working on things for the channel. And usually I have to stop at least an hour before I go to bed, because if I stop working an hour before I go to bed, I'm still thinking about things, and it's keeping me up for another hour after I go to bed. So I really have to, I'm trying to work myself to stop working 2 hours before I go to bed, so I can actually get some sleep. Because once your mind gets humming on this stuff, you start bouncing ideas around. It's hard to calm things down and relax and actually settle into sleep mode. So yeah, I've been working from the time I wake up in the morning till pretty much the time I go to bed at night, working on the channel day in, day out for the last year. And I'm not complaining. It's one of the most interesting things I've learned about having a channel is, if you're passionate about something, there's no problem working 80 hours a week. Because if you're doing a job that you don't enjoy, 1 hour is a living hell. And 40 hours is a prison sentence if you have to do that day in and day out for your entire life. But if you can find something you can enjoy, it's a really positive thing. Going full-time will allow me to do this more sustainably, because even though I'm working 80 hours a week, and I'm happy to do that, I do need time for my own personal development. Like I want to learn 3D animation. All the 3D animations that you've seen, at least the photorealistic animations, were done by an animator out of Russia, and I love working with him. We'll come back to that. I'd like to be able to do the 3D animation myself, because a lot of what we're dealing with in batteries, when I ask him to animate it, there are no examples on the internet. Nobody has animated these things before properly. And when I ask him to animate something, we're basically going from 0 to 1. I would at least like to get my animation skills up to a point where I can give him a model of how something is supposed to work. And then I'll go, oh, that's how it works. And it would make our workflow much more efficient if I was able to learn how to do some 3D sculpting and animation. So I need some time for personal development. So if I go full time, don't expect to see an explosion in content. It might be a year or two before we see the benefits of me going full time. Now, one thing I do want to do, as I said earlier, I want to start doing more interviews if I go full time. I could probably, what I have in mind is I can either continue to do 2 highly in-depth videos a month like I'm currently doing. I release videos every 2 weeks, 2 videos like that and 2 interviews, or I could do 3 interviews and 1 in-depth video. So if you have a preference there, let me know. But that's what I have in mind. I think if I went full time, it would free up enough time for me to do some personal development, as well as do 1 to 3 interviews a month. It just depends on how we mix things. We're getting to the point now where the purpose of a lot of these videos that I'm making is to level up my own education. And that's why a lot of them are at such a detailed technical level, because I really need to understand the nuts and bolts if I'm to get a good grasp on that information and be able to share it off the cuff in interviews and discuss it fluently. Once I build a solid base of videos to work from, some good reference material like I've done with the high-loaded silicon anode, or what I'm currently doing with the cathode series, or what I did with graphite anodes. Once we have that solid base in place and I understand these things well, I should be able to write scripts more quickly with that deeper understanding, and I should be able to speak more fluently to experts about these topics. So it's kind of like if you're a teacher. The first year that you're a teacher, you have to develop all your educational material. And then after a few years, you have all those resources in place. You've kind of worn those grooves into your mind about the topics and subject matter, so you really know them back and front. And that's after that you can become an excellent teacher, because you're not scrambling to teach yourself. You're not scrambling to pull together research material. And that's the way I see that if the channel continues over the next few years, that's the way I see it developing. I've spent the past year developing a lot of resources. The next year, I'll continue to develop resources and embed my understanding of how batteries work. And then from there, I don't know, I think ultimately I'd like to become the Carl Sagan of batteries, if something like that is possible. I don't think people are as captivated by batteries as things like the universe, but it gives you an idea of where I'm headed with this, where I'd like to be ultimately. Right now, I'm just a baby in the battery world. There is so much I don't understand. I know this much, and the people who have worked on PhDs or have been in the field for years know so much more than me. It's the advantage of having a channel and being able to do pre-recorded scripts is it makes me appear more intelligent than I actually am, because I can spend hours and hours and hours refining that script and getting the wording right, getting it clear. So when I put these videos out, it actually serves two purposes. First off, I'm creating content for you and for the community, but what I'm also doing is I'm organizing my own thoughts. And as I said before, to a certain extent, it makes me appear like I have knowledge that I don't have. But the videos go a long way into helping bridge that gap. Every time I write a video, it upgrades my knowledge because it embeds that information in my mind. Now, beyond maybe the switch up in the content and changing doing some interviews and changing the number of each type of video I do, one thing I'm also going to be doing is I'd like to do at least one special feature this year. One of them I've already been working on for 6 months with an animator. I've been working on him. I'm working on it with him for about 6 months now, for an hour a night. It's been quite an epic journey working on it. And as we've gotten deeper into it, I've realized what the animator can do. And the project was originally supposed to be a 3-month project, and now it looks like it's going to be about a 9-month project. And it's on how a battery works. I don't think it's going to be what people expect. It's not going to be like an introductory level 101 course on batteries. It's going to be the goal of the video is to provide a more detailed understanding of how batteries work and to use photorealistic animations to help facilitate that. Now, the way a battery works is ridiculously complex, so I think people are going to enjoy the visuals regardless, but I'm interested to see how if it benefits people the way that I've worded it, because it was a very difficult video to script. But regardless, I'm looking forward to it. And there's a couple other surprises we might have this year, but the key one is that how a battery works video, which I've put so much time into already. Along with going full time, I want to move back to the US this year. My plan is to move to Iowa, and I probably get into why I'm moving to Iowa in another video, but my life has become complicated here in New Zealand by having myself distributed over multiple countries, because I'm a US citizen living in New Zealand, and that creates a lot of extra administrivia and accounting and expenses just living in New Zealand and having a business and investments that are in the US. So it'll be easier if I consolidate everything into the US. And my plan is, as soon as springtime hits, and if a house opens up in the area where I want to live, then hopefully I'll be able to make that move between May and June. That's the plan, at least. I'll stick with my current job until maybe March or April. And then after that, hopefully I'll move back to the US. And I'm going to be working ahead on my videos. I want to get to about 6 weeks ahead on my videos, because it's a 4 to 6 weeks to ship things ocean freight from New Zealand to the US. So that's going to be a time frame where I don't have everything I need to make videos. So what I'm trying to do now is work ahead on my channel videos to bridge that 4 to 6 week gap. So if you're somebody in there, you plan on donating on Patreon, you'll notice that it might be 4 to 6 weeks before the shout out or your name in the credits appears in the videos, because those videos, I'm producing them now, but they won't go live for several weeks from now. Right now, I'm probably three or 4 weeks ahead on videos. So by the time I leave in May or June, I should be set in terms of videos. The whole point here is that I want to make sure that there's no gaps in viewing for you, and that every 2 weeks you continue to get a video. Other than that, a few months ago I started the Limiting Factor 2 YouTube channel. And I'm rethinking that now. The way that I wanted to have it divided is my primary channel was for like drinking out of a garden hose, these highly curated videos where I stuff information into your brain. And for the Limiting Factor 2, I wanted to be that stream of thought and interviews type channel. I've rethought that now, and I think it's probably better just to consolidate that all into one channel. Hopefully that doesn't affect the channel negatively in terms of the YouTube algorithm, but we'll see how it goes. I think that pretty well covers everything. That's a summary of the past year and what we have to look forward to this year. And as always, I appreciate your support. It's been quite a ride in the past year, and there's so much more I could talk about, but I don't want to make this video ridiculously long. If you enjoy this type of video, I can make more types of these videos sharing my thoughts, but I thought it would be good, at least on my 1-year anniversary, to give you a talking head video. I'm not very good at these. When I need to have a conversation with somebody. I need to have another mind to dance with. I'm not used to just speaking at people as if there's somebody in the room when there's not. I want to be able to pick somebody's mind, or I like it when people ask me questions and I can provide something specific to them that's of value. So yeah, let me know if you enjoy this type of video. And as always, thanks for tuning in.